Please join me in welcoming President Rob Denson.
Thank you, Brenda. It's great to be back. I was just here 2 weeks ago meeting with Steve Gray, your superintendent, and touring our welding facility here. Again, we've got sites throughout central Iowa trying to make sure we keep up with the pipeline of workers you all need. It's great to be here to talk a little bit about DMACC. I do hear that it's going to be recorded today, so that will have a chilling effect. There will be a few words I don't use this time that I used in Boone a few weeks ago. But it's great to be here. And also, had I known it was going to be taped, I would have thrown in my iteration of Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk rap. So maybe next time, But again, I'm very proud to be at DMACC. We're one of the 15 community colleges in the state of Iowa. And what I always say about our partners of community colleges, in most states, the community colleges sue each other over the distribution of funds. All the presidents in Iowa, we come together and we divide up the state funding in a manner that makes sure all the rural community colleges that don't have the economy of scale, make sure they can be successful. In fact, the legislature this year just gave us the authority where annually we can adjust the distribution of state aid just to make sure that it stays within a reasonable range. So you've got a great community college system in the state. And again, if you haven't been involved with DMACC and need information, Jeff Janes in the back or I can, or anybody else can help. Again, 58 years of a community college here in Iowa. We're, again, one of the 15. We've got the largest service area of any of the community colleges. When we had our 50th anniversary in 2016, we kind of renewed our mission. I mean, we are focused on our students, the businesses that hire our students, the communities where those students live. And if we can get those three things moving smoothly, we will do extremely well as Iowa will do well. So that's our mission statement. But what I said is our real mission statement is world domination. We are no different than any of you. We are a business. We run like a business. We pay bills like a business. And so we focus not only on what we're doing and what we have done, but what we're going to do. And like any business, we got a lot of programs that are doing very well. Every one of our successful programs, somebody's trying to take away. I mean, we're going to be disrupted like everyone else unless we stay ahead of the curve. 6,520 square miles is our service area. We've got 6 fully accredited campuses, Ankeny, Boone, Carroll, Newton, Urban, Des Moines, and West, as well as a number of career centers, actually 13 sites throughout central Iowa. Again, we want to be close to every student that may need some training or education from us because we know most of our students are working, so we've got to be relatively reasonable. We are by far the largest community college in the state. I think a couple years ago we were up at 38,800 students. That's on the credit side, another 18,000 non-credit students. Quite frankly, we'll develop any program that can break even. We go into a lot of partnerships, and I tell all our partners, we do not need to make money, but we can't lose money. So anything that breaks even, we're all over it, but we continue to lead the way in the state. That's kind of our credit student footprint throughout the state. 97% of our students come from Iowa. 95% of our students stay in the state after they graduate. We've got students from every county in Iowa. This is the non-credit. This is it's mostly short-term training that responds directly to a need the business or industry might have for training. A lot of our students don't have a year or two to spend in college. A lot of our companies can't wait a year or two, so we frequently put programs together that at least get students into the workforce as soon as possible, and there's never been a better time to look for a job in Iowa. The pay is good and the companies are very, very strong, so we're very excited about what we do. Concurrent enrollments, what we do in the high schools, about 15,000 high school students take credits with DMACC every term. Iowa is very progressive, and we have many students graduating from high school with at least a year of college. We have 100 or 200 every year that graduate with their full 2-year degree from DMACC the same week they graduate from high school. I mean, you can monetize the savings that it costs those parents nothing, as well as providing challenging education for the students. So we continue to grow that, and we have a great partnership with all of our superintendents. Market penetration, red means good market penetration in the actually 18 to 54-year-old group. That's what we looked like in 2000. That's what we look like in 2010, and that's what we look like now. I mean, we've aggressively grown. Again, we put various academies out. The Hunziker Center at the northwest corner of 30 and I-35 was the first career academy in the state of Iowa, and it's really been the gold standard in all the career academies that are put up throughout the state. We have about 350 students from 7 different high schools that go there for various kinds of training, as well as a number of Iowa State students to pick up credit classes there. Many programs, 226 degrees, certificates, and diplomas. Again, we will do anything that breaks even. If a program doesn't break even or we don't have enough student interest, we close the program. I mean, just like many of you would do in your businesses, you got to follow the money. Our liberal arts are 2-year college transfers. Our largest group, about 55% of our students are there for the first 2 years of a 4-year degree, and then go on to school. But then health sciences is our second largest, and then you see criminal justice, manufacturing, et cetera. Very, very successful programs. Everybody wants DMACC students. We're the only community college in the world that Grinnell articulates with. They just took our 10th student, a young lady from West Des Moines. They did a year's worth of due diligence to track our students and how they do when they go anywhere. And we have students that go all over the United States. We've got articulation with all the universities in Iowa, private or public. We're the only community college in the Midwest that Tuskegee articulates with. Again, we want to make sure that our students get their degrees and then can move on successfully, and all the credits count, because we don't want them wasting any money. We're just doing a strategic planning process. We want to focus on our stakeholders, which I said are our students, our communities, and our businesses. It's all about our people. How do we manage the staff that we have, and then our stewardship. I mean, because in the end, you got to be able to pay for it. So we've done a very, very good job of watching our money. DMACC Business Resources is our division that works directly with companies. We've got consultants that will work with any of your business to help you find good training at a reasonable cost for either your new workers coming in under the 260E new jobs training, or your current workforce. Very creative, very entrepreneurial. Jeff's a part of that division. But again, we've been around since 1984 with our DBR, with DMACC Business Resources. We give every company that wants one a consultant. We do any kind of training that they need, but we're very heavily engaged in economic development. And I know we work with Dan and Brenda and in the Ames Chamber a lot in various projects, and they've been very aggressive and done a good job. 260E, which is New Jobs Training, it's a great program that Iowa has, so that any company that's here or coming here that adds new jobs to the Iowa workforce can actually allow the community college to bond training dollars. So we issue bonds, we help the company train up all the new workers they're going to have, we divert their payroll back to DMACC to pay off the bonds. So it's a great circular process, and companies are very aware of this. And again, the whole goal is to make sure that you have the best trained workforce possible. 260F is money that we get to train your current workforce. So if you've got some new technology, new computer systems, new equipment, whatever coming in, we can often wrap a 260F program around it so that you can train up your current workforce. Again, because Iowa has a reputation for hardworking individuals, so we just want to make sure that they're totally trained. And again, last year we trained just over 9,000 individuals throughout the state, throughout our district. I mean, every community college has this, but we've got by far the greatest program. In 2018, Goldman Sachs came to us. They have a program called 10,000 Small Business, which is mainly a mini MBA for small businesses. So they asked DMACC to run the first statewide small business program in the country. We've been doing it since then. We're actually on our 10th cohort right now, and with over 300 companies throughout the state. These are small businesses, and the goal is to help them do a better job working on their business as well as working in their business so that they can add employees and be successful. It's been a very, very good program. Goldman Sachs pays for 3 of our staff members to run the program. And quite frankly, when they came to us in 2018, I thought it was a flash in the pan to get ready for the 2020 election, but they have been so pleased with what we've done. And again, we brought all the community colleges into this. So again, it's like a mini MBA, been very successful. Just a few of our college successes at DMACC. 2 years ago, the Department of Education came out with college and career transition counselors. They're community college employees that go into the K-12 to help juniors and seniors plan their college and their career. They're not recruiting for us. They're there to help the counselors in schools. Now, right now, in most of our K-12s, the counselors have way higher caseload than they should. They're busy doing mental health, discipline, registration. So these individuals go in and they specifically target the kids that need help planning where they're going to go academically or going to work. And I will say, on a side note, that right now 40% of Iowa high school graduates are not going on to college. As a native-born Iowan, that seems like an egregiously high number. Now, that said, there are a lot better jobs out there right now for high school graduates. But still, we know historically that those with a college education, whether it's 2-year, 4-year, tend to do better long term. So we're anxious to get these individuals back into an academic workforce plan so it's best for them and their families long term. Dennis Albaugh, one of the billionaires in the state of Iowa, his only degree after high school is with DMACC, a great partner of ours. This is the night that he and his wife Susan gave us the lead $1 million gift to upgrade our culinary program. And I'm probably the only college president in the country that says, I never say we're the best, there's just nobody any better. Because our people will flat out work anyone. And we've got a great partnership on our culinary program. We bring French chefs here in January. We send students to France to work in May. And what I tell everybody, I said, if you ever go into a restaurant in central Iowa, always ask if there's a DMACC chef in the kitchen. Generally there is, and if not, you should leave. But we're everywhere, and we're celebrating our 40th anniversary of our French Chef Exchange this next year, longest-serving culinary exchange in the country. So we're very, very excited about that. Here's Carl Moyer of Carl Chevrolet. He and his wife Penny gave us $1 million lead gift to renovate our auto tech facility. We've, in the last couple of years, gone from ugly block buildings with no windows to buildings that really are exciting for our students. We hold the only statewide auto tech competition for high school students in the state. Here are 400 students coming in from around the state that do the paper and pencil test. Then the top students will be invited back to do hands-on experiments with various cars. And the winners will get about $25,000 worth of tools. So it's a very, very popular program. Our graduation rate in auto tech is 50%. And that's because after a year, Carl and everybody else is hiring these kids because, again, there's a big demand in the workforce for auto techs, and then we work with the companies to help them finish their degrees. Urban campus, downtown Des Moines, the first majority students of Color College University campus in the state of Iowa. We just finished a $25 million addition there. Went from ugly block buildings and a lot of parking to some beautiful buildings and some green space. On the right side is a STEM education center. On the left side is a conference center. Really our commitment to the urban core, a lot of potential there for students that want to get an education and then move on. UNI gave us $2.5 million in that downtown project. They actually office out of our urban campus to provide the last 2 years of a 4-year degree. Many of our students, particularly our urban students, they're never going to go to Cedar Falls. I mean, they're pretty much land-based. They've got jobs. So right now, if they're low income, UNI will let them finish their 4-year degree at our tuition rate, which is significantly cheaper than UNI, but it's a great partnership with them. Boone campus is where our athletics are. We took over the Boone Junior College in 1969. So we've got all of our athletic programs there. We just finished a multi-million-dollar addition to all of our training facility with the help of Fairway. The year we finished the building, our basketball team finally won the national championship. They said it had something to do with the new building, but that was nice, and I've actually got the championship ring, which is too gaudy to wear. But very, very nice. Our athletes, nationally, we rank number 1 or 2, depending on the year, and the grade point of our graduates and their graduation rates. We want to make sure our kids come in, but they also finish. So we've got very successful programs. So we got 3rd in the nation in basketball the next year. Welding, we just finished a new addition to our Carroll campus. Again, big demand for welding everywhere, and we're working with the Ames Chamber on another welding facility in the Boone area. But again, we did an addition to our Carroll campus. We just opened a new center in Templeton. Again, we want to be close to where students are. We got $1 million from Governor Reynolds to open that up. Nursing, welding, et cetera, coming out of that program. That just started last fall with 70 students. And the unique thing about our Templeton Center, I mean, all of our community college, we have very specifically drawn boundaries where our territory is, but we don't pay attention to it when it comes to serving students. 2 of the high schools that we're partnering with in Templeton come from Iowa Western Community College's district because we were closer and we want to make sure that these students can get served. So we're very excited about that. Now, politics aside, and we're going to all get even sicker of all this, but we've tried to get all the presidential candidates on campus to learn about DMACC. They all talk about community colleges, but we want them to actually see one. Our tool and die department comes up with these beautiful brass medallions. So I've given one to Trump, I've given one to Obama, and this is Jill Biden picking up the one for Joe Biden, President Biden. So it's just, again, an example of what we do, and these medallions are beautiful. Homeland Security, in 2011, TSA came to us. They wanted us to do some Homeland Security training for the screeners in Des Moines Airport. We came up with a 3-course series for them. They pay for the cost of the training for their screeners. 2014, we put it online. 2017, the head of TSA flies in, summons us to the airport, tells us they've got 80 colleges and universities across the country doing training for their particular airport, but they're so happy with what DMACC does that they terminated 78 of the contracts, gave us 36 states, over 200 airports, 23,000 agents to train, which was a big deal until 2019 when they fired the other one. We are now the sole provider for Homeland Security training for the entire United States for TSA, over 440 airports, 43,000 agents. And TSA is so happy with our certificate program that any of their agents anywhere in the country who haven't got a 2-year degree, TSA will pay their way through DMACC online. We just started with the first 258 students this last fall. Again, amazing things that our faculty and staff will do. Iowa State, we created a cyber hub. If you haven't been breached, you will be. I know everybody's worried about how to protect your systems, and you should be. But we partnered with Iowa State to make sure that our cyber training facility and the training that we do is top-notch. And again, it's something that we're all worried about and working hard to prevent. Iowa State loves our students. We've got an admission partnership program with Iowa State. A kid comes to DMACC knowing they want to go to Iowa State. They're automatically admitted to Iowa State. They get an Iowa State advisor from day one. They can actually live in the Iowa State dorms, pay a little bit more, and go to all the football games, et cetera. But again, we've got a couple hundred of our students living in the dorms. They just get up, walk out, and go a different way to go to class every morning. But again, our students do very well. And when our students transfer anywhere, they do as well with the same grades and graduate at the same rate as students who start out at 4-year institutions. And the amazing thing is many of our kids could not have gotten in as freshmen. So they come to us. I mentioned 38,000 students at DMACC on the credit side. Big numbers, but our most important number is much smaller. Our average class size is 19. And so our faculty could teach anywhere, but they want to teach and be able to meet and get to know students and provide assistance to them. So we're very excited. We were just named a National Center for Excellence in Cyber Defense by the National Security Administration. We did get breached in 2020. That was our day in the barrel. We were very lucky. All of our systems work. We've actually become a harder target since then, but we didn't pay anything, didn't lose anything, but it was a very traumatic 6 weeks for us as we tried to make sure that they hadn't gotten in and gotten something big. So we're very excited to be part of this National Center. Kosovo, have any of you ever been to Kosovo? Most pro-American country in the world, beautiful country. I've been there 3 times. The Iowa National Guard was instrumental in them getting their independence 19 years ago. You walk down the mall in Pristina, there are Iowa flags everywhere. Unbelievable. The prices are low and the beautiful countryside. We got a $1 million grant to bring 28 women here for 2 years, all expenses paid, to learn the energy trades. They graduated year ago May, and average GPA 2.8. They're now back in Kosovo. Some are finishing a 4-year degree there. Many of them are working in the energy industry, helping develop it. In fact, the number 2 person in the Ministry of Education is a DMACC grad from this cohort. But again, we look for grants and opportunities to help students move forward. We're big in the renewables. We've got a wind turbine on the Ankeny campus. We've got a wind program and a solar program. This is the day Catherine Kunert from Mid-American gave us a used nacelle that we use in our wind program. And again, every one of our programs has an advisory committee of the companies that hire students out of those programs, and that is the key to our success. I mean, we are training on current equipment, current competencies. and our accreditor makes us do it. But again, that's one of the reasons we're able to do so well. And then the Iowa legislature has been very good to us, providing various buckets of money to help us fund specific high-demand careers. Again, they know the companies that are having a lot of stress finding workers, so we focus on them to make sure we can increase the pipelines. And again, we've got a lot of certificate programs wanting to help students get through as quickly as possible. And we're now going to competency-based education rather than seat time. I mean, you no longer have to sit through classes for 16 weeks if you can get through the class in 8 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever. So we'll help you get the competencies you need, and once you prove you've got the competencies, you graduate. Future Ready Iowa, a great program that Iowa Workforce Development has identified 60 high-demand programs. So if you go to DMACC or a community college in one of those programs, before you take out a loan, the state will come in and pay your tuition. In the last 2 years, we've had 2,886 students draw down over $7.2 million. Again, you have to use your grants, et cetera, but before you take out a loan, the state will come in and pay your way. So that's been a very, very successful program. The National Science Foundation, they picked DMACC as one of 13 community colleges in the country. We've been very successful in our NSF grants, not only getting them, but implementing them successfully. So we're part of a cohort to show other colleges how to do a good job. We got picked by Lumina Foundation, the largest education foundation in the country, one of 6 colleges we're being focused on because of the success of our workforce programs. And the only reason we want to be in, I mean, we're happy to share information with other colleges as to what we do, but we're there to learn from the other 5. Because just like all of you, you're always looking for new opportunities, new ways to do things. So we're in with some of the best colleges in the country looking for our success. And again, we're the only one in Iowa that's doing this. Amazon, we were the first education partner for Amazon in the state of Iowa. They provide free college education to their associates. We had over 1,500 Amazon associates just in and around Bondurant. So we're developing a program for them. We got $1 million, I mentioned, for our Templeton project. Google picked us as the first college or university in the world to test their software engineering certificate. They came to us 2 years ago. They wanted 10 students out of our computer science program, which we gave them. They got the certificate for free. Go through it. They got a mentor from somewhere in the world, plus they each got $5,000 each to do the certificate. Second year came around, they picked 7 other colleges and universities around the country. Their quota was 120 students. They gave us an allocation of 10, but when they got done interviewing, they picked 32 of our students because our kids do well. So we were very excited. Again, they got the certificate for free, a mentor, and $5,000 apiece, and that program is continuing. I mentioned Dennis Albaugh. He's got a little golf course on the northeast side of Ankeny, as well as having the largest Chevrolet car collection in the world. He hosts a golf tournament for us, and in a one-day golf tournament, we made, I think, $480,000 in 2022. All this money goes for scholarships. So Dennis has been very supportive of ours. We know that students who get scholarships out of our foundation are 25% more likely to finish. Money is the issue for so many of our students, so we want to make sure they can get through. In 2016, we were picked as number 10, and I don't mean number 10 of the 15 community colleges. We were picked number 10 of the over 1,700 two-year programs in the country based on value. Again, we run like a business, so it's all about value. We have the highest bond rating of any community college in Iowa, the lowest property tax levy rate, and the lowest tuition fees of any college or university in the state. And again, we want to make sure we're affordable to everyone in central Iowa. Forbes, in 2021, picked DMACC as the #1 employer in the state of Iowa. We are the first college or university in the nation to ever be named #1 employer in their state. This is something we're very, very excited about because, again, you got to take care of your people. And we do that. We make sure that our benefits and our pay is competitive because you have to be. You don't have a choice now. But we're very excited that we were picked #1 by Forbes. So in conclusion, our brand is Life's Calling. Our tagline is as dreamable as doable. So when marketing came out with this and was going to put up the billboards, I said, what I really want the billboard to say is Life's Calling, answer your damn phone. And that's it. You all know people that should be seeking additional skills and education to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. And there's never been a better time. There's never been more funding to help individuals get through into this training. You just need to do it. And I'm going to wrap up by saying I love Iowa. As I say, I spent 25 years in Florida in witness protection, but I was so glad to come back to Iowa. Not only did we come back in a time before any of our parents had passed, and 3 of the 4 have now passed, but Iowa is a great place in so many ways. We've got great leadership, and at least in central Iowa, I always say that central Iowa is successful because of the leaders that are here. We all know each other, and except for one, we like each other. So just very happy, and everybody wonders who the one is. I'm kidding. We all work well together. We've got a general understanding as how we move Iowa forward. All right, thank you.